Hi everybody, my name is Angela Cleary. I'm a feminine empowerment coach and I specialise in healing after narcissistic abuse. So today I want to talk about vulnerability. Vulnerability is a superpower. It's not a weakness. We have been led to believe for generations that it is weak to be vulnerable, it is weak to show our emotions, it is unhealthy to be too emotional, and we're better off suppressing our feelings. We're told, even as kids, when we cry, we're told to shut up or we're told to stop crying. We're told to grow up. We're told that it's childish to be emotional and to man up and just, this kind of stuff, especially for men. Especially for men, it is like they're led to believe that, the only way to be a man in this world, the only way to be macho in this world is by not showing emotion. This isn't strength. It's weak to bottle up your emotions, because when we bottle stuff up, this is a form of, it's denial, but it's actually, we're repressing stuff. So we're taking the easy way out, but it's not easy. When you bottle things up, when you suppress your emotions, they will erupt. It'll be like a volcanic eruption. That's the thing. If you keep, say for example, if you keep pushing stuff into a box and keep pushing that stuff into that box, it's going to be hard to fit stuff in that box, and you're trying to close this lid, and the lid eventually is just going to pop off, and all of your emotions, all of the stuff that you've been trying to hide are going to explode out in unhealthy ways through anger, frustration, and you're going to take it out on the people closest to you as well. It actually takes such strength, such superpowers to be vulnerable, to open up, to express what you're feeling. Being vulnerable and being authentic is a superpower. It really is. We're led for generations to suppress our emotions, to not talk. And there's certain things that people say, this is stuff that people don't talk about. You have to talk about stuff. Communication is so important, but being open with how you're feeling is so important. Don't have the people around you second guessing, and don't hurt the people around you, because the more you block stuff up, the colder you are, because you put wall up after wall and you become like a stone, and you don't let emotion out, but you won't let emotion in either, and you'll end up pushing away the people that are closest to you. Now, I see this I'm watching Married at First Sight at the moment, and I find it fascinating to watch the different kinds of people that come into it. And there's one couple in particular. They look like opposites. One is a 51-year-old man who has thick walls up, doesn't express emotion, and his partner is very free-spirited, very open, and very nurturing. Now, I think they're a very good match, because she is probably the only person in this world that would be able to break his walls down. And I could see at the start, he was very rigid, and he was not set in his way, or he was set in his ways, and he was not opening up. This was how he lived. He knew it. He knew this is how he lived, and he said, no, I've been hurt too many times. This is how I cope. I put walls up, and that's it. This is how I live, and that makes me what he thinks happy. But he's an angry, frustrated person. You know what I mean? And all she wants to do is dig out that emotion for him, and he's starting to break down his walls, which is actually quite beautiful. It's heartbreaking to get to 51 years of age, and age is only a number, and 50 is young, but he's spent the majority of his life in this box of steel. That is a lonely box, and now he's starting to open up and stuff, and he's going through an emotional hangover and a vulnerability hangover, and he wants to revert back to his old ways, because it is scary. It is scary to dig into that box, especially if you have been burying stuff in that box your whole life. And I still do it. I still bottle. I still avoid. I am a conscious healer, and every day I will consciously understand my triggers and come back to that, understand why I'm getting angry. I have dug through this box of emotions for the last few years, and it does help, but I still avoid. I still get cowardly and I still get fearful of opening up that box. And like, I know now, like the universe will guide me to watch something or to do a certain thing. And I will know before I watch it that there is a trigger in there for me. And I will avoid it. I'm at the moment, I'm avoiding watching certain things because I know the universe is bringing them to me to release stuff that I have within me. And I'm afraid to dig. Because I know the last time I did this, though, the last time I avoided, I did this again. I was avoiding watching certain things because I knew the universe was trying to get me to uncover something. And I avoided and I avoided and I avoided. And when I finally did allow the triggers to come in, I exploded. For days, I was crying horrendously. And it is hard. It is hard to get up that emotion. And that's the hard part of it, is that when you do dig and realize how much is buried, the emotion will be intense. It's painful. Your heart will break over and over again when you're purging. You will cry so much your head hurts, and you'll start. I even got dehydrated because I was crying so much. And I mainly drink water, like. Do you know what I mean? So, like, even though I'm a conscious healer and I'm open to emotion, and I think crying is actually very healthy. Crying is a way of releasing any pent up emotions within you. No one wants to sit there for 3 days crying. Do you know what I mean? They don't. But when you overcome, when you actually, like, and the thing is, you're not going to be sitting there for 3 days crying if you don't bottle your shit up. You get me? So, like, the quicker you dig that shit out and release it, the shorter the emotional bursts will be. Do you know? So, like, being conscious and aware of your emotions is so important. Doing that digging is so important before the box gets too full. Before the box wants to explode. Because even though I've been consciously healing for like the last six years, I still bottled and I still avoided. And like I was even shocked at how much I had still buried within me. Because I was like, I thought I'd healed this and I thought I'd heal this, but I forgot that you heal in layers. So, you might say you face something, but you might only face a tiny bit of it and then you bury it in the box. And that's what I was doing. I was facing a bit of it, then burying it and thinking, I'm done now, that's over. But if it came up again, I'd be like, no, I'm fine, I heal that. And then I realised after this emotional purge that, oh my God, I was burying on top of other stuff. And I had a lifetime of emotion buried in this box that I had avoided because I thought, I faced it and I let go. No, you have to dig. You have to dig, and you have to get to the core of the problem. You have to face your demons. You have to face your traumas, because this is the only way for you to release anything. And it's a weight lifted. You can even see it with that guy on the program I was speaking about. You can actually see, you can sense his aura. It's a big, big steel cage he's in. And he doesn't want to open that cage, and he doesn't want to let anyone into that cage. And he thinks that his life is satisfactory because he's in this cage. But you can feel the tenseness. You can feel the intensity of it. You can feel the rigidity of it. And as his walls are breaking down, it's like you get light with somebody when they open up. You can feel the weight coming off, like, because that's what you're doing. If you're bottling stuff up, you're carrying this heavy weight. Can you imagine this backpack on your back, right? And say, get a stone. And a stone is hypothetically, this stone is the emotion or the trauma that you're after avoiding. So you put that into your backpack. It's one stone, it's not too heavy. You're grand, fine. But then you go through another trauma and you get another stone and put it into your backpack. And another one. After more and more trauma, another one and another one and another one. Now your backpack is overfull of these heavy rocks. What's it going to feel like? It's not going to be easy now, is it? It's not. And this is what is happening. It is constantly just going to weigh you down and down and down. You're never going to see the true beauty in life, the true beauty within yourself, unless you dig through this dirt. unless you start emptying out those fucking stones. Grab a stone and just throw it away, man. But you need to face it, look at it, and understand why it was there in the first place. We can't just avoid these triggers. We can't avoid these emotions. They're a part of us, but we need to release it. We cannot move forward with our lives unless we face what has caused our the way we live. And that's the thing, like, everything that's happened to us is going to dictate how we live our lives. And we will never be able to truly open up to ourselves, to this world, to the universe, or to love, or to anyone, unless we open up to ourselves. Break those walls down. Open that cage. Get out of that cage. Take that backpack off and start to release and heal what has been weighing you down for so long. Because it is so freeing. Your heart can get so heavy. Your head can get so heavy when you're holding in all this shit. When we don't communicate openly. When we bottle everything up. And it's the simple things. It's the everyday things. If you're in a relationship and you're unhappy, you're going to make your partner unhappy if you don't uncover your wounds. Do you know what I mean? You're gonna what's like the quote? You're gonna bleed on the people that didn't cut you if you don't heal. If you don't heal your wounds, you're gonna bleed on the people who didn't cut you, and that's it. You're gonna hurt the people that love you, and if you want to love, you need to be able to love yourself as well. But you're closing yourself off to anything when you bottle your emotions up. Being vulnerable takes so much power and strength. And it's not all hard. It's brief. You know what I mean? It's quick. Like, it's hard. But it's harder to spend your whole life. And this guy is 51 years of age that I'm speaking about on the television. So it's hard to spend your whole life in this cage. And, he broke down the other day and, fair dues to him. You can see how hard it is for him. But he realised that. He was like, he spent his whole life protecting himself. But in actual fact, he was blocking himself from any kind of real connection. And that's what we do. If we have this wall up, if we block everything, every emotion that we have, if we suppress that, it does make us cold. It makes us cold, it makes us hard, it makes us rigid. We're afraid to let anyone else in, we're afraid to trust again, we're afraid of getting hurt again. But, when you're blocking all this stuff up, you're going to attract the wrong people into you anyway, and then that's going to lead to more hurt. But it's just, people need to stop thinking that it's weak to be emotional and it's weak to be sensitive. Like, I hate that. Like, you're too emotional, you're too sensitive. No. It's weak to bottle things up. It is. Like, so if any man that's out there going, I'm big, strong man, I build fucking fire, I have no emotion, that's not strength. That's actually cowardly. Sorry, but Jesus, like, the most strongest strength, the most courageous thing you can do is open your heart. Speak what you need to speak. Dig deep into your traumas to heal them and release them. Be free of what has been holding you back your whole life. And do it early. Don't be waiting till the end of your life or the middle of your life to do this. Do it early. Live a life of open-heartedness. Because it's beautiful. Because when you open your heart, everything turns beautiful. Everything. The whole world, the people in it, everything turns to colour when you stop living in that cage. Stop living a lie, because that's another thing. Like, people spend so much time in these unhealthy relationships or unhealthy circumstances because they're not truthful. They're not truthful to themselves or to the people that they're surrounding themselves with. And this will make you more in your box because you're in circles that make you even more cold and more rigid. You know what I mean? This is no way to live. Be open about how you feel. Be open about what you really want. Let those guards down. Open your heart to true authenticity, to true vulnerability, because it is really a superpower to have the strength to be vulnerable in this world when for generations we've been led to believe it's weakness. Is magical. It's beautiful, and it's the most attractive thing to find a partner or people, friends, even family members. It's the most beautiful thing to have somebody open their heart, to break down those walls. Because I do know what it's like. I know what it's like to spend my whole life bottling things up, avoiding speaking, avoiding emotion. And when I used to drink, it used to be detrimental. Because when I was a bottler back then, and then I'd add drink to the explosion of bottled emotions, and it's not fucking healthy. Do you know? And you don't need alcohol to do that. As I said, if you keep burying things into this box, it's going to explode. And it's going to explode in unhealthy ways. Anger, frustration. You're going to end up hurting yourself and hurting others by not facing this shit. And the longer you leave it, the more explosive it will get. And I saw that myself. As I said, I've been on a conscious healing journey for the last 6 years. But because I was still avoiding stuff and saying, no, I thought, I healed that, that's fine. I actually wasn't. I forgot, well, at the time I didn't realise that we heal in layers. And that's actually when I realised that. Because not only did I have triggers from the last couple of years that I buried, I realised that there was still so much buried from years and years ago as well. Because I'd only healed the surface. Do you know what I'm saying? So I was still bottling. Because that's the thing. That's another thing. When an old trauma resurfaces for me, before I realised the layers, I would bottle again. Because I'd be like, no, I healed this. I'm done. I'm not feeling that again because I've already healed it. And I was adamant. I was fucking adamant. I'm not doing this again. I'm not going through that pain again. That is bottling. And now I realise that every time anything comes up, it's because I'm healing the next layer. And that makes it easier when we heal in steps. But the importance of breaking down these walls as well is to be kind to yourself. It's going to be raw, it's going to be real, it's going to be hard. But when you do it, make sure you rest and incorporate self-care as well. Because when you're opening up, you're literally opening up a wound. That's the thing, you're opening up a wound. This wound is going to feel fresh. So what you need to do when you open this wound is look after yourself, care for yourself, nurture yourself. Be kind to yourself, because there's such a thing as a vulnerability hangover as well. So when you do open all these walls and these doors, and I've done this as well, I'll have a big massive purge and then I'll get back into my daily routine. And what happens? Boom, I end up crashing. I end up depleted, energetically drained because I didn't rest afterwards. Doing this emotional digging, this digging out of all these traumas, as I said, you're opening up a fresh wound. So what do you do with a fresh wound? You dress it, you put ointment on it, you look after it, and you put a nice bandage on it, and you keep it fresh, and you keep it safe and healthy, whatever. So this is what you need to do to yourself as well. When you open up these wounds, you need to give yourself some time to heal that wound. So don't, and I see that with the guy I was speaking about. He's going through the vulnerability hangover now, and all he wants to do is go back to his old ways, and all he wants to do is put back up his walls, and he doesn't want to face any more emotions. And it is hard. When you're going through the raw of it, you're like, I'm never doing this again. I don't ever want to feel upset again. I'm not digging up these walls again. But what he's not doing is resting. He needs to rest. He needs to stop thinking about the next time he's going to uncover more emotions and think about how he needs to mind himself right now. Because he's raw. His wound is wide open, and what he's doing is not resting through that. And you need to rest through it. You need to nurture yourself through that step. And it does get easier. Once you actually recover from the vulnerability hangover, you start to feel the lightness. But straight away, you're not going to feel that lightness. You're going to still feel that heaviness. You're feeling that raw wound, and it stings. It stings. But when you're kind to yourself for the couple of days afterwards to nurture yourself back to full health, it feels amazing. It really does. And once you get out of that dark night of the soul, this dark couple of days, it actually feels lighter. It does. And you'll get to that stage where you're like, okay, I feel better now. I didn't feel good then, but I feel better now. And I feel better than I did before I broke my walls down. So if you do it step by step, you'll start to realize that it gets easier. It does get easier, but make sure and look after yourself. If you're going to be digging this dirt out, heal yourself between every trauma, every emotion, everything you bring up. Integrate it. So don't go rushing into the next one or anything like that. Take your time. Because when you've been a bottler your whole life, doing that digging is going to be harder. So just do one scoop at a time. Face that, feel it, but nurture yourself afterwards. And no matter how long it takes. If you need a week to nurture yourself, do that. But be kind to yourself. And I promise you, when you actually overcome the vulnerability hangover, you actually end up feeling a lot lighter than you did before you broke your walls down. So you will actually start to go, okay, maybe there is good in this. But trust the process, because it can be hard at the start. It can be very hard at the start to open up those wounds and break down those walls. But it's beautiful, and it is the most attractive thing in the world to see somebody who faces their truth and is emotionally intelligent. And that's what it is. It's emotional intelligence. It's understanding what your triggers are, understanding what your traumas are, and facing them head on. It takes such power, such strength to open up your truth. It really does. And it is the most attractive thing in this world. We don't want money, we don't want status, we don't want anything like that. We want the real, we want the truth, we want authenticity, we want vulnerability, we want emotional intelligence. We don't need somebody to build us a fire anymore. We want somebody to be equal with us and to open up with us, to break down walls with us, to grow with us, to heal with us, to understand that. That's what we want these days. That's what us women want, I think, anyway, is that we want a man who is emotionally intelligent, because this is sexy. This is strength. This is what we're attracted to. We're not attracted to the guy who thinks he's like, oh, I can build fire. We don't want that shit. We can build our own fires. We're well able for that shit now. You know what I mean? We want a man who can meet us on an emotional level, on a vulnerable level. That is strength. That is beauty. To see a man who is strong enough in his masculinity and his femininity to be able to open up and be emotional is beautiful. It's so beautiful. So there is such power in vulnerability. Vulnerability is a superpower. It is not a weakness. Open up. Be emotional. Cry. I cry for happy things. I cry for sad things. I purge when I need to. And I know when I'm going through a big purge, because my crying will get more hysterical and it's painful even. I get headaches and everything and dehydration. But that's okay, because it's releasing. When you have the flu or any kind of disease, you have to purge it out of your body. You need to purge the trauma out of your body. Purge it through tears. Even shout into a pillow. Scream if you have to. But don't take it out on the people closest to you. Because that's what we do, is we end up getting angry with the people closest to us, because we're bottling all this stuff up. So if you don't want to hurt the people that love you and the people that you love, open up, because that's what we want. And it's just, it's so fucking beautiful to see somebody open their hearts to be their real, true, authentic selves. That is the most attractive, beautiful thing in this world. So speak your truth. Don't listen to the lies that we've been brainwashed to believe from society for generations. Believe in your own truth. Open your heart. And then the more you open your heart, the more you will guide others to open their hearts as well. And that's what we want. We want a big ball of open-hearted love in this world. We want this new way of living. We want some magic. So don't be afraid of your emotions. Don't be afraid of how you feel. Don't be afraid to express them. And, you know, if you're in a relationship and you think, like, you know, it's weak to open up, it's not. It's beautiful. You know, and if you're in the right relationship, you will get the support you need and not ridiculed. Do you know, that kind of way? There will be equal support. And this is what we want, especially us women. We want our partners to be able to open up to us. We want our partners to be able to be vulnerable with us. This is what we want now. We can build our own fires. So anyway, thank you so much for listening today, and I hope this resonates. If it does, please like and share, and please subscribe to my channel. And if you'd like help in your journey, please book me for a discovery call today, and I would love nothing more than to help you on your path. Bye-bye.